If you don't know what your bike stem is, it's this piece right here. It connects your handlebars to your bike frame. Now, why would someone want to adjust or change their stem? Maybe you crashed. Maybe your bike tipped over and now your handlebars are crooked. Or maybe you're looking to adjust or tweak your bike fit. Changing or adjusting your stem is usually the first thing people do to tweak their fit. Maybe your bike feels too long, too cramped, maybe your handlebars are too high or too low. Messing with your stem is the best way to get the perfect riding position. Before we get started, let's cover the basic parts of a stem first. The part holding your handlebars to the stem is called the faceplate, and usually it will have 4 bolts. The part holding the stem to the steerer tube of your bike is the steerer clamp, and usually it has 2 pinch bolts. Now, although it's not part of the stem, we also need to be familiar with our top cap and top cap bolt, and unless your bike is fully slammed, you're probably going to have a few spacers on your steerer tube as well. To help you understand how to adjust or change your stem, we're going to adjust the stem on this bike right here. This is going to be the same method you use for any modern road, gravel, or mountain bike, and hopefully, once you see how everything goes together, it'll be easy to work on your own stem at home. To do this job, you're going to need a couple of hex wrenches. Most stems and top cap bolts are going to need 4 or 5 millimeter hex wrenches. And if you have carbon handlebars, it's a good idea to have a torque wrench as well. I like to work on my stem with the bike on the ground. This makes it super easy to align the handlebars and also prevents the fork from falling out of your frame when you undo the steerer clamp bolts. Since we're planning to flip this stem, the first thing we're gonna do is remove the handlebars. Now, if you're just looking to adjust the height of your stem, you can skip ahead and move on to the next step. To remove the handlebars, we're gonna undo the faceplate. Next, to remove the stem from the steerer tube, we're going to loosen the steerer clamp bolts. You don't need to remove these bolts entirely, they just need to be loose enough the stem can move. Finally, we're going to remove our top cap by fully undoing the top cap bolt. With the top cap gone, we can remove any spacers and remove the stem entirely from the steerer. Now, to put everything back together, we're going to slide our stem back onto the steerer tube. To position it where we want, we're going to rearrange the spacers however you want. Check with your manufacturer to see how many spacers can go below or above your stem. Most recommend you don't exceed 30 millimeters below the stem, and ideally you have no more than 5 or 10 millimeters above. If you do, you can run it temporarily, but in the future you might need to cut your steerer tube. Now, before we tighten the pinch bolts on the steerer clamp, we need to install our top cap first. The top cap is important because it provides compression for the headset and holds the whole front end together. You're going to tighten it down, and you know you've tightened it enough when you hold the front brake and wiggle the bike back and forth and there's no play in the headset. Ideally, beneath the top cap, there needs to be a little bit of space for it to pull the steerer tube up. You'll need about 3 to 5 millimeters, and if you don't, you're gonna need to add another spacer. That's not enough. Add one. You can see there's enough space there. Next, I'm gonna reinstall the handlebars. If you have carbon fiber handlebars, it's always a good idea to use some carbon fiber assembly paste. We're gonna make sure the bars are tilted exactly how we like. When we tighten down the faceplate bolts, we want to make sure to tighten them in an X pattern so they're tightened evenly. And then again, if you have carbon bars, use a torque wrench to make sure you torque the bolts to the correct spec. And now that they're installed, we're going to make sure to align everything with the front wheel. And when we're happy that everything is nice and straight, we can finally tighten down the steerer clamp bolts. There, we're done. It's that easy. Hopefully you've achieved the perfect riding position and can now enjoy miles and miles of riding comfort. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.